one thing, when you are in charge of a charity, its reputation is everything. And there's no question that the amount of publicity that has been given to Archewell, Harry and Meghan's charity, it is both for fundraising and also for productions, the fact that it apparently has been given a delinquency notice by California's Attorney General because its financial affairs are not in order. Now, apparently the truth, according to the Telegraph anyway, is that a cheque was lost that had been sent, and the cheque will presumably, or another cheque has been sent and it will arrive. The problem is they can't fundraise during this period, and obviously this sort of publicity is extremely careless, and I'm assuming that this cheque will arrive and that the delinquency notice will be lifted. But no charity wants to have this sobriquet actually attached to it, because it puts the spotlight on Archewell. I mean, originally they'd hoped to have a Sussex royal, but that wasn't permitted by the royal family. However, the way Archewell's been run, there are curious things about it, because it doesn't seem to have taken off in the way you would have expected a charity, say, run by A-listers, by members of the royal family, which they are. I would have in 2021, I mean, Archewell began in 2020. In 2021, they raised £13 million. They gave away several million in charitable donations. If you actually look at the list of charities Archewell has contributed to in various parts of the world and for various good causes, it is impressive. However, in 2022, there was an 11 million drop in donations. And though we must mention that they still have assets of over $8 million, what got a lot of publicity was the chief executive's salary up some 280%. Now, there's absolutely no doubt that after a trip which could be considered successful, it was a private visit, but nonetheless it seemed to have gone very well, to Nigeria, it will be interesting to see whether Archewell is actually able to fulfill its potential somewhat more. I say this because it's the 13 million it received, 10 million came from one donor, the vast majority came apparently from 2 donors. Now, that's not many. What you're expecting from A-listers and members of the royal family, what you're expecting, I think, is a great deal more than that. But also, what I think you're expecting is a far larger number of people to actually be involved in it. They don't seem to have got many public donations. Less than $5,000 was a figure I saw, and as a result, Archewell clearly needs a boost. After Nigeria, will there be more donations to Archewell, or will it be just very little from the public? Will it be just a couple of big donors? Or will it not be? Will it make a loss? This is a question mark for the future. And obviously, this issue of delinquency must be solved immediately. It's actually very difficult to say whether their public image has been linked to the paucity of donations, simply because they were very popular in the United States, and at the time of Oprah and subsequently this remained the case. But recently, the fact that they monetized their connection so ruthlessly with the royal family and yet attacked them in the way they did, and so publicly, I think that led to a very considerable diminution of support in the United States. We know that they're not popular in Britain. That's been the case for a long time. Obviously, again, they need to sort their tax affairs out. That apparently there's a check in the post and that will be done. But the facts of the matter are that Archewell hasn't, I wouldn't have thought, fulfilled its potential when it comes to the level of donations and the numbers of people involved in donations. They've given to some very worthy causes. Those are listed, I see, but I mean that is taken for granted. Equally, they do have some $8 million there, but they unquestionably are still pretty embryonic. I think that they would say that Archewell was the basis of their charity work and also their work for Netflix and other production companies. The facts of the matter, however, are that the jury is still very much out because they haven't, apart from Nigeria, really been working at an A-list level. How impressed Hollywood is, I would say there was a huge question mark about that. I would suggest that what we need to see is a great deal more from them. We need to see a highly successful entertainment and cooking and so forth series for Netflix from Meghan. Harry will have to popularize polo. It's an elitist sport, and so that's a challenge for him. I would expect more. There were reports they'd taken out an option on a novel. There were reports of something to do with a prequel to Great Expectations, a Charles Dickens novel. I don't know whether that's come to anything. The point is, they haven't done that much. Nigeria was a success. Will there be another tour following Nigeria? And if so, will the interest that the press undoubtedly showed in it, will that filter down to donors, to Hollywood A-listers? After all, it was pretty good, and it was also linked to charitable activities, and to Meghan was able to talk about women and leadership. They were both able to talk about mental health issues, and also Invictus was the reason for this, because Nigeria, for the first time, put in a team at the Invictus Games last year, and it's hoping, it is reported, to host a future Invictus Games, and the Invictus is undoubtedly a fantastic institution, a project that Harry should be proud of. So the future is still all to pay for, because America is a gerontocracy, and with so many politicians so old, you have to ask, will Meghan be one of the younger ones who rises?
So you think then that you think other organisations and other people would still have faith and still trust in the Archewell charity?
I think that this must be cleared up immediately, and subsequently, yes, because this is obviously, from what has been reported, an extremely unfortunate mistake, but it has got them a lot of very bad publicity, which they could do without.